What's up, everybody? J Heat Sports Media coming at y'all again with that fire as always. Spitting the hot topics and getting the sports conversation started. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Football, basketball, and boxing. Let's get into it. So, the Golden State Warriors. One of my 7 teams that I've said has a legitimate chance at an NBA championship. We can't count out the Warriors, the dynasty that is the Warriors, in my personal opinion. They've been doing this thing for a while now, equivalent to the San Antonio Spurs, which is apropos because Steve Kerr has built a thing in Golden State along with Joe Lacob and the ownership, even though Myers has left and they're continuing to build now. They've really put a standard in play, and it always starts with your star players, but the front office matters a lot too. The Warriors have been willing to spend money when needed, and they've kept the right players coming through that fit their system. But it's a system, so when everything isn't in place, sometimes it doesn't quite look like the championship team we're used to seeing. People criticize them a lot when Steph wasn't in the lineup. Well, Steve Kerr can't win without Steph Curry. Well, even though Popovich won a game or two in the regular season without Tim Duncan, he wasn't winning no championships without Tim. He wasn't making serious playoff runs or serious streaks of winning in the regular season to put them in a good position to have a good seed in the playoffs without a Tim Duncan. And when Curry was by himself without all the parts around him, even though he played well individually in the past, without those pieces, it's not the same system. But bringing in guys like Jordan Poole in the past and now Chris Paul, that's all part of a bigger picture that they have in Golden State. You got to understand, Golden State's one of the few teams that can put a championship lineup on the floor. They got a starting 5, Curry, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond, Looney. There's a lot of championships in that 5. We know the main 3, they got 4. But Looney has 3 championships himself, and Wiggins has been with them to heavily contribute to winning a title, playing defense and being an all-star in that season. Now they bring in Chris Paul, who's on the tail end of his career, but he's hungry. And what does he bring to the equation? Yes, there's going to be a defensive lapse at times because when you play Steph and Paul on the floor together, people may say, well, who's going to guard the 2 guards on the team? They're going to be a little bit small, right? And Curry don't move his feet the best. Paul getting a little older, so maybe he's not going to be quick enough to stay with some of those elite point guards. This is true. But as a unit, as a team, with Draymond Green and Looney anchoring things, Wiggins there, they'll be all right. They'll be acceptable, but their offense is what you're going to have to pay attention to. Bringing in a guy like Chris Paul, who's only made teams better that he's been on when healthy, that's always the big thing with him. Is he going to be healthy, right? But you bring Chris Paul in there, who people thought automatically coming off the bench, and Chris said, well, have you spoke to the front office? Have you spoke to Steve Kerr? He didn't think he wanted to come off the bench. Now, I think he's a team player, and if he really had to, he would, but he knew he wanted to see how that bigger picture is going to work, and they're saying he's going to start. You put Chris Paul in there with a Draymond Green, what does that do? Do they clash? No, they both are high IQ guys who are going to move the ball. They're both going to communicate on defense to make sure guys know where they need to be. They're both leaders. And on top of that, having those 2 passers out there, even though Curry has the ability to be a great passer, now Curry and Steph can really just let it go and shoot. And when they're running through screens, it's going to elevate their offense for what Clay and Curry can do. And then Wiggins is going to be the utility guy, and when needed, a scorer along with them. Looney just does all the right things. Gotta love him. He's a pro's pro. And these guys have a legitimate chance. Their basic weakness is size, but they have championship pedigree. They got the experience, having done it recently more so than other teams, a championship level coach, a Hall of Fame level championship coach, and one of the top 5 players in the world currently still, even at his age, in Steph Curry. Expect the Warriors to be in the mix. Don't sleep on them. If they were to win the title next year, it would be not a shock to me. But they've really got an opportunity. They're not the favorite, but they in the mix for sure. All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is, and you know who you looking for. J-Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, or get at me in the comments. Let's go back and forth. You know I'm on YouTube, Instagram, at The Vault, JMU414 on X, and TikTok as well.